welcome to the Ashby Ponds Farmwell Hall AV room. Today we're going to be doing a quick tutorial to explain to you how you can use the setup. So, as a quick reminder, you want to make sure that everything is lit up in the rack. Make sure that the rack is on, make sure that the receivers are on, and make sure that you are seeing green lines right here on this drive unit as they control the speaker. And then if you look down here, making sure that the amps are on. Once you make sure that the amps are on, we're then going to come over to our soundboard. On the soundboard, there are a couple of things that you want to make sure are turned up before you can hear any audio. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure that the master slider is up to 0. We tend to keep it at 0. You shouldn't have to mess with that. If you do, sometimes you can get a bit too high of a sound, but this controls the entire mix for all of these different channels. So if you change this volume, every single volume on every single mic will be adjusted in any peripherals that you have inside. The next slider that we're going to focus on here is the program slider. I don't know if you can kind of see that right there. You're then going to, these are magnetically controlled, so you can use left or right, but you will raise them up. Tend to recommend that you put it right about there, so not fully at 0 just yet until you hear how your volume sounds. Keep in mind that this is the source volume, and we'll discuss a little bit later, but that is what controls the volume coming out of your laptop. So we want to turn it a little bit lower and then adjust once we've adjusted the volume for the computer so that we do not blow the speaker. From there, you're going to have your handheld channels. So you can see everything that is a handheld is labeled HH. So from there, you're going to make sure that you raise up whichever microphone you'd like to use. In this case, we'll raise microphone 1. We'll go over here to our microphone section that we have here. Each microphone is a wireless mic with a battery pack inside, and we'll discuss that once we get through it. So for instance, we'll select handheld 1. We'll go ahead and turn it on. We'll give it about 2 to 3 seconds, and then we'll speak. Test, test, 1, 2, 3. Test, test, 1, 2, 3. So we can hear that it's coming outside the speaker. We can also confirm that it's coming out of the speaker if we look at that dot that's right there, and we can see that the mix is receiving that. If for whatever reason you then turn up the wrong microphone, you would notice that the light would be here, but your volume would be down. So you just need to flip up the correct switch. From there, you can adjust the microphones. We typically recommend that it would be at 0. So that's the good recommendation. If you do notice that's a bit too loud, you can come down. I would recommend that you stay within the dotted lines. If you need to come a little bit lower, you're going to lower it at a faster rate than you would if you're doing it in the little dotted line. So we just recommend that you keep it at 0, and if you need to make any further adjustments, you can go down up there, and that should relatively get you taken care of. You should not have to mess with any of these settings up here, as in preamp gain, gate, comp, any of those. You should not have to mess with those. Those should be preset. You shouldn't have any issues there. The rest of these are all different channels. If for whatever reason you need to use a lavalier mic, all of those are labeled WL, so wireless lav. The lav microphones that we have are located right here. So you can use either one of those. They tend to be softer, so the volume needs to be cranked up pretty high on here in order to receive the volume. So this one might be one of the ones that we actually will have kind of closer up here, but you want to be very careful and test first around here to then make sure that you are not going to blow the speakers. But 9 out of 10 times, we tend to recommend to use the handheld microphones as they provide better quality sound in most cases. Okay, so if you happen to be back inside the AV room and you're running the setup, you can use this toggle right here to turn on the monitors. When you turn on the monitors, you'll actually hear the audio through the AV room. So for instance, we're going to go ahead and turn it up right over here. And you can see that the decibel levels are changing. We'll then make sure and confirm that we're using mic 1, so that mic 1 is turned up. So we'll turn that up to about 0 right there. And we'll confirm that our master slider is up. We'll then step back. We'll do a test. Check, check, 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2. We'll go back over here. We'll turn up our dB so that we can hear, and we'll do another test. check, check, 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2. So now you can hear it both in the chapel, but you can also hear it in the back, so you can test to make sure your audio sounds okay. Okay. So now that we have done that, we can turn that back down, just in case we don't want to hear ourselves. And then we'll do just one more test, make sure that we've got it all together. So we'll do one more. Check, check, 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2. And you can hear that we don't hear ourselves through there. Okay, so now that we've covered the basics on the audio, and we've covered a little bit of the troubleshooting, making sure that your master slider is up, making sure that if you're doing any computer audio, you'll be going through the program slider, and also making sure that whether or not you're using the lab set of mics, these four, or you're using the handheld mics, which are right here, that you have them turned up right here, and you don't have to click any other buttons that are right there. So we'll now move on to our Crestron panel. This Crestron panel, if you see any of these different slides, to go home, we'll just press the home button. And when we press the home button, that will get you to where you would normally find your information. So here it will tell you, welcome to the Room AV system. And from here, you'll select where you're going to use as your input. So the ones that we're mainly concerned about are going to be laptop left, laptop center, laptop right, and rack HDMI. So for those, just to give you the lay of the land, if you are operating your computer inside here via this HDMI cable, you are going to use rack HDMI. So if you have your computer in the back of the AV room, you're going to use rack HDMI. And when you select it, you'll go ahead and click rack HDMI, and from there it will load. Once it loads, you want to confirm that all of your settings for the projector, the left display, and the right display all show rack HDMI. We'll take a quick second to show you which TVs we're talking about. So the projector right here is the main projector. Your left display is this TV right here. Your right display is this TV right here. So anything that we are adjusting is going to come from those inputs right there. So let's say that you come to the screen and you see that it's on rack HDMI, but you wanted to select laptop right, laptop center, or laptop left. You'll then go on the sidebar and select laptop right. And from there, you will then click each button until it illuminates the correct setting. It will only do laptop right if you have that selected, so you don't have to worry about double clicking it, triple clicking it. It will then just select whatever you have selected here. We'll try that again with laptop center. If we click laptop center and we click laptop right, and laptop right, you'll see that they all change to laptop center. All right, so a couple of other things to note is that we have a source volume and a source mute that are on the Crestron panel. To ensure that your audio is able to be heard, you want to make sure that the mute button is not pressed. When it is highlighted, you'll see a bloom effect right there. When you click it again, you'll be able to not mute it, just like that. You can also control volume right here from the source volume. This will be able to be used. Typically, we recommend that it stay all the way up so that you only have 1 or 2 variables to mess with, and that will usually show up blue when you have a source connected. If we clear and we head out of this menu, one thing that we can do is go back and select rack HDMI, which is usually where you'll find this information. If we then click Tools, this will bring you over to our Tools section. This Tools section is actually what will be used to bring down and up the projector. We'll then press the projector button once. We'll then turn over here. And then once you hear the click, we'll look outside and we'll see that the projector is coming down. As we see right now, the projector says LAN. And we'll zoom in right there so that you can see that as well. The setting for the projector, in order to be displaying the HDMI, is actually HD base T. So when we see a blue screen, we'll actually take the projector remote and we'll head over to the projector to go ahead and switch the input. All the inputs are listed right here for you to see, and you can see LAN is at the bottom, and the one that we're looking for is HD base T. So we'll go up to the projector and we'll click HD base T. And once we click it with this button, we can then turn and see that the projector will then turn from that color and you'll see HD Base T selected as the setting. And then we can grab this TV monitor, and I'll show you how to turn on the TVs that are over here on the left and right side. So turning on the TVs is very, very simple. All we'll do is just press the red power button, and when we press it, the TV should hear a click. If not, come a little bit closer. You'll hear a click, TV will turn on, and it will automatically switch to the correct source. We'll then press it again, and that will turn it on as well. And then to turn off the TV, you just press the red button just like so. To shut everything down, we can start with the projector, which we will do here. We'll press projector off, and once we do that, we should hear a click. And just like that, you'll start to see that the projector is coming up. From there, we can go, and let's just say that the projector turns off, but the screen does not go up. You can use the screen controls right here, but be patient. If it does not come up after about a minute or so, then feel free to use the controls up to go up, down to bring the projector down. Once that is done, you don't have to worry about changing any settings. Those can be set or reset when the next guest uses the system. Over here on the soundboard, the first thing that we'll do is to locate the mics that we utilized. We'll then bring both down, make sure everything else is down, just like that. And then we'll also bring down our program slider, remembering to use just simply one because they are magnetically controlled. If you use both, you'll feel resistance, so just utilize one. So now we'll go ahead and bring down the master slider, and we'll confirm that all microphones are turned off. We only used one in this case, but you can see that all microphones are off. If you do need to change the microphone batteries, you can do so as follows. What you'll do, and I'll turn it right here, hopefully you can still see. We'll take the microphone, you'll twist it just like so, and once you twist it, you can then remove the battery right like this. Be careful of this flap because sometimes it can get a little bit stuck, but you'll just go ahead and pull the battery out. We have fresh batteries, and I'll show you where those are. The fresh batteries are located right here. For demonstration purposes, we'll grab the microphone, battery, and then we'll grab the microphone. We'll then take this new battery, place it inside the microphone, just like so, pressing all the way down and pressing in. You should hear a click, and then this flap that goes down should easily go flush with the entire microphone. If you notice that you put the battery not all the way in, it will not fully shut down. So that's one way for you to know whether or not you put the battery in correctly. Okay, once the battery is in, you can then twist to secure the microphone, and then you're good to go. You can see that the volume status or the battery status on the microphone can be seen just like so. And you can test it, and if you have any issues, you can replace the battery just like that. The lav microphones will work the same exact way. They have the same type of battery, except you pull down these little two tabs right here on the side, and then you'll just pull out the battery. You can pull in a new battery, flip it in just like so, and then you're good to go. The lav microphones are actually on there charging right now, and usually will remain charging until they are needed. If you do have any questions about making sure that you're charging these lav mics correctly, you should see a red battery light and a green light, or you'll just see just a red light. What this indicates is that when it is just red, it means that the battery is under 90%, but it is charging. And then the green light means that the battery is charging, but is over 90%, meaning it can be used without any issues. You'll have full battery, basically. If you do see a yellow arrow, it could mean that the microphone is not fully seating on these pins. Sometimes the pins get pushed in, and sometimes it's just seating. So you just have to try again. Once you select and put these microphones right inside, you should see the red arrow right there, the red battery indicator. Once you see that, you know that you are good to go. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself. My name is Cameron.Colwell. I'm the CTV or Community TV Coordinator here at Ashby Ponds. Or you can reach out to my manager, Anna Wood, and we'd be happy to help you out. And we hope that you have a successful event.